So Birds of Prey came out about 2 weeks ago, and the reviews have been promising to say the least. While the box office might not show it, the quality of DC's recent movie release has shown massive improvement from its predecessors, those of which being Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, Justice League. DC has shown promise in the film area as of late, with movies like Wonder Woman, Shazam, Aquaman, and Joker, just to name a few. When DC originally announced their attempt to compete with Marvel at creating a large cinematic universe with movies that connected with each other, the hype was kind of unreal. Man of Steel was the first to start this chain, and the reviews were mixed, kinda. The audience was very divided when it came to talking about this movie. Some loved it, some hated it. It was fair. After this came Batman v Superman, which was wrong in so many areas. I'm not about to get into it. Then Suicide Squad came, which threw DC in such a hole that seemed almost impossible to climb out of movie-wise. Wonder Woman was almost a saving grace for DC, as it did amazing at the box office and had the reviews to back it up. People were excited. Everyone wanted to see where DC would go from here. The short answer was right back down the drain. Justice League was met with unpleasant reviews, to say the least, and box office troubles, which was well deserved, to be fair. From there, DC went to Aquaman and Shazam, which were both alright films. Both did alright at the box office and both had okay reviews. I mean, it felt like a middle ground for the company. Then we received Birds of Prey and the fabulous emancipation of one Harley Quinn. You guys know how some people feel born for the role that they play, like Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man or Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. Well, Margot Robbie was born for the role of Harley Quinn. Her voice, her look, her tone, everything about her screams Harley. That being said, she was the standout performance of this movie. The dialogue she was given was perfect. When we received lines like
Logically
this,
speaking, vengeance rarely brings the catharsis we hope for. Yeah. Are we ready?
it feels genuine to her character and feels like something that Harley would say if she herself was put in this situation. Like a character being torn straight from the pages of the comics. The arc of Harley in this movie is great. She begins the film recovering from her breakup with the Joker and has to find her way in the world without his protection. She always saw herself as a strong person, but without the protection from people like Roman Sionis, she is lost and has to figure out a solution herself. Without the help of the Joker throughout this movie, she gains humanity while also staying true to her crazy side, going from full villain to anti-hero with the help of her allies. Speaking of which, while the movie feels like a Harley Quinn solo movie with the appearance of Huntress, Black Canary, Renee Montoya, and Cassandra Cain, it still works because these characters felt crucial to the plot, but without overpowering Harley's importance. Starting with Black Canary, Jurnee Smollett played the role perfectly, providing the emotion and tone needed for the character. While she doesn't gain her iconic canary cry until the end of the movie, it is more than made up for with things like her martial arts skills and humor that she provides to the group. When she meets Harley and decides to help her by killing Roman's best friend and partner Victor Zsasz, we get to see her character change from a hopeless bird with only a good voice to her name to someone who is willing to work with others and finally stand up against people who she felt has been holding her down. Similar to this is Huntress. This being Huntress's first live-action big screen debut, Mary Elizabeth Winstead does the role justice with her angst and hate, while also coming off as comedic at times. When we first meet a young Huntress, her family is gunned down and a henchman for Roman is willing to spare her life and train her with a crossbow and how to use martial arts to avenge her relatives. When she agrees to join the group after helping kill Victor Zsasz, she is similar to Canary in the sense that she goes from a loner to someone who agrees to put herself aside and fight for the greater good. Then we have Renee Montoya, who is definitely different from the rest of our protagonists. While the rest of her department is paid off, the ex-cop is determined to take down Roman Sionis and bring him to justice. So when we see her put her morals aside for the purpose of bringing him in, it feels satisfying to see her complete her arc and be able to help the group in her own way. The only problem with Montoya is that the group always calls her out for, quote, talking like a cheesy cop show from the 80s, which is funny, but some of the dialogue from the characters just feels like that, cheesy. It's almost like they're trying to cover up some of the dialogue flaws with a throwaway line, but it still doesn't help. It's like them acknowledging their flaws and saying, yeah, we know we messed up, but we're just gonna make fun of it rather than fixing it. Another huge flaw I found with this movie is the character of Cassandra Cain. Her entire plot and character just feels super jumbled, like it was shoehorned in with the rest of the characters last second, which doesn't make sense because the plot of the movie is that she has swallowed this diamond that Roman Sionis has, and now Roman wants her dead so he can get the diamond back. Her dialogue was the worst out of the group by far. She curses a lot, which is fine, but it comes off as very forced for the character. It needs to come naturally. Also, let's just acknowledge the fact that she does absolutely nothing to contribute to the group. All she does is hide while the group protects her. Cassandra Cain is infamously known for being one of the best martial artists in the DC universe, so forgive me if I was a bit bummed that she just sat there and did nothing. But with all this being said, the protagonists for this movie were great, and each had their own interesting and intriguing plot lines that led to them all colliding for an epic team up. But with every great hero, there is a great villain. Where do I even start with Roman Sionis? Ewan McGregor McGregor delivers an outstanding performance, showing the public side of Roman that has him smiling and being friendly with the people in his club, but also going deep into the psychotic side of Roman that is kept under wraps. We truly see Ewan shine in this role, in scenes like the one where he kills a family of 3 by stringing them up from the ceiling and cutting their faces off, and when he loses his temper in his club and forces a girl to get up on the table and dance for him. He's able to flip his emotions on the drop of a dime, so when we finally get his big reveal as Black Mask, it feels very deserved and fitting for his character. When Roman, someone who is very flamboyant with his outfits and desires, chooses his villain identity as the color black, the most basic color, we know it means something, and that he's truly gone off the deep end. While he was very compelling and one of the best characters in the DCEU by far, his death felt needed for the film. I've heard people getting mad that he was killed because he's one of the best villains we've seen yet, but because of Birds of Prey's success and Flashpoint being on the slate for the DC movies, Ewan McGregor is bound to reprise this role in the near future. While Birds of Prey bombed at the box office because of a lack of advertising prior to release, it was still one of DC's best movies of their cinematic universe by far and shouldn't be overlooked. From the standout performances by Margot Robbie and Ewan McGregor to the comedic relief that all the characters provided, Birds of Prey was strong on just about all fronts. While some of the dialogue felt forced and choppy, the tone and pacing of the film make up for it in major ways. This was the win that DC needed on their cinematic front, which will hopefully impact future movies and create things that audiences actually want to see. Hey guys, thanks for sticking through to the end of the video. Make sure to support me by liking the video and subscribing to the channel. A link to my Instagram will be down below, so make sure to show some love and hit me with a follow. Peace.